Well, with Mother's Day coming up next week, you may be wondering what to get her. Well, what better than to plant up a nice planter for her porch or her patio? And we're going to take a look at some of the new containers that are out on the market and then talk about some of the things that we can put in them. Now, to start with, these are some of the new plastic containers. They're out on the market. They're by Duraco, and you can get them at most of your local garden centers. We actually picked these up at TLC in Oklahoma City. Now, this is a very nice one. It's made to actually fit over the railing of, say, your patio or your porch, and then you can plant each side. Now, if you are worried about it coming off, there are actually places where you can put screws in and actually attach this to the top. This is a very nice way to kind of make a planter box effect on your railing. Now, the other thing that's very popular right now are these stackable planters, and again, these are the lightweight plastic. They have that terracotta look to them, and this is very easy to assemble. You basically just unfold this, which comes already assembled, fit that into the grooves here in this bottom pot, and then we just set the top pot on there and we're ready to go. Now, if this is a little bit too large, it actually comes in a smaller version, and again, it's pretty easy to assemble, and then you're ready to plant in them. Now, a lot of these plastic containers will come with places that you need to drill the holes, and that's a good thing to go ahead and do, is to drill the holes so the water will drain out. You'll have better success with your plants when you do that. Now, another popular item are the tower planters, and these really look pretty when they're filled with petunias or something that kind of has a trailing habit, but it can be kind of hard to plant all of these holes. Well, this one actually has been designed in sections so that you can take it apart and plant each section and then put it back together. So that makes it very easy to plant. Also popular are the hanging moss baskets, and these are actually the coconut hull liners, and these make very good liners. They're easier to work with than to putting the moss in, but they still make the nice look. So any of these containers would be good to make up a container for your mom. Well, as we're thinking about things to put in our containers, you might try some of the more unusual plants. And right over here we've got two. Now, these were actually put together by the Horticulture Club, and they have basically grown mint in a hanging basket. And this is chocolate mint, and I wish you could smell this because it smells absolutely wonderful. And you can also see what a beautiful hanging basket it makes. And the nice thing about the mint is, one, if you put it in your garden, it's pretty invasive, but if it's in a hanging container, it's contained and it's not going to take over your garden. The other thing is that if these are hanging, they're up around where you're walking, and you're probably going to smell this mint a lot more. Now, this is also a mint basket, and this is one of the larger mints. This is orange mint, and you can see here, this one's a little bit larger. Now, you can actually keep these contained by just giving them a haircut ever so often. Just snip some of these off, use them in your tea, and they'll be ready to go. So you might think about putting mint in a container because it's pretty easy to take care of, and it makes a very nice hanging basket. Another plant that's a little bit more unusual for hanging baskets would be to put some of the ornamental grasses in a hanging basket. Now, these are two very good candidates. In general, you want to look for an ornamental grass that has kind of a weeping habit, and if you don't have a very long chain, then you're going to want to keep your ornamental grasses low. Get those grasses that grow about 12 inches tall or so. Now, if you have a long hanger for your basket, you can get a larger ornamental grass and put it in. Now, this is the golden Japanese forest grass, and you'll remember that we grew it in one of our gardens last year. This is an excellent candidate for a hanging basket. It has this weeping habit. It also has very beautiful yellow variegation in the leaves. And this is one of the grasses that can actually take shade. So a lot of times you'll have hanging baskets in a shadier spot up under an eave. This would be a great possibility. This is another one of the ornamental grasses, and you can see it's called Frosty Curls. You can see why. It has kind of a frosted look to it, and it's very curly. And this is another ornamental grass that would work very well for a hanging basket. Another nice thing about putting the ornamental grasses in the baskets is that they can take those drier conditions. So these should fill out and look beautiful. So you might think about fixing up some planters or some hanging baskets for your mom for Mother's Day.
We hope you've enjoyed this classic from the Oklahoma Gardening Vault. Remember, even though these tips and techniques are timeless, there's always something new to learn in the world of gardening. By subscribing to both Oklahoma Gardening and OK Gardening Classics, you'll have access to a wealth of gardening knowledge, both classic and contemporary.